Okay. Okay, there we go. And they found that the diets that are high in um, fruits and vegetables and whole grains, there's lower incidences of the colon cancer. And so that's where that recommendation was established by some of those earlier studies on people that had higher plant-based diets. And for the average woman needs about 25 grams of fiber a day, average man between 25 and 30. Now, if you have children, their fiber requirement is their age plus 5. So if you have a 5-year-old, they need about 10 grams of fiber a day. And of course, fiber is important for regularity. And the more fiber you eat, probably the more, of course, you're going to have more regular bowel movements. And one quick way to find out if you're not eating enough fiber, if you're eating enough fiber, that 25 to 30 grams a day, you should have at least one bowel movement a day. If you're eating that much fiber, you may have 2 to 3. And that's very normal because what happens is all of that fiber helps the waste products to transition out much quicker. So, and the other thing, you really should see signs of what you ate the previous day in your stool if you look at your stool. And they do recommend that so that you every now and then take a peek at your stool. And I know that's not a real nice conversation, but you can, so that you can note any changes that may occur in your stool. Like if it gets really black, you may have some bleeding internal. So it is important to know what a healthy stool is and what a unhealthy stool is. And someone said what helps constipation. Fiber, number one, and drinking lots of water. If you're trying to increase your fiber, you also need to increase your water, because the fiber and the water work together so that your waste products transition out quicker. If you have ongoing problems with constipation, first you want to talk to your doctor to see if there's any medical reason behind why you're constipated. And if there is no medical reason, you may need to increase your fiber and your water. And if you're still finding challenge to get all this in your diet, what you could use is Metamucil. And there's another one, Benefiber, and there are store brands of those or pharmacy brands that are much cheaper than the name brands. And you can take that every day without any health consequences, because it really is not a chemical. It really is just fiber that they've kind of concentrated in a powder. And Rebecca said, reaching out using soda and water instead of soda has really helped her. Okay, next slide, please. And so a few things. I always say, and the research says that it is never too early or never too late to make changes for your health. And then, excuse me, be realistic about your health goals, especially when it comes to weight loss. And one of the things I'd like to say here is that a lot of the fat diets out there, they work for a short period. They may work to get you, to help you lose weight quickly, but many of them are not sustainable. They're difficult to stay on long-term. Like I know the keto diet and Atkins diets are much higher in protein and lower in carbohydrates and fruits and vegetables. But those diets really are hard to sustain for long periods of time. Yes, they work. So try to be realistic and make changes that you can sustain for life. You don't want to do something that you're only going to do for a couple months. And then what happens is once you go back to eating the way you did before you started that diet, oftentimes people gain the weight back that they took off, plus they put on more. So just be careful with some of those weight loss plans that are out there. It's always good to have a partner or someone that's supporting you. So include your family and friends. Get a weight loss and physical activity partner that you support and build each other up so that you can reach your goals. And some setbacks are going to happen. Forgive yourself, adjust your plan, and restart the next day. Even if you know that you're going to be at a gathering and you ate more at that gathering than you wanted to. Just get back on track your next meal, and don't beat yourself up, because it does happen. And when you're trying to eat healthy, you got to keep those temptations away from your house, your car, your office, anywhere that you are. Because if you have tempting foods, it's much more difficult to stick with your healthy eating plan. And if you don't have it there, you won't be able to eat it. And that's the same for your children. I've heard a lot of people say that their children won't eat such and such, and but they'll eat potato chips. Well, yes, if a child has to choose between potato chips and green beans or broccoli, they're going to choose those potato chips. So if it's not there, you can't consume it. And keep healthier foods and snacks available, so that you're making the healthier choice the easiest choice for you and your families. And another strategy, eat half and save the other half for another meal, particularly when you're eating out, because the servings in a restaurant, you're paying for it, number one, and consumers want more. And so what do? They give you a lot of food. So in most cases, you can save half of that food and have it for lunch or for dinner the next day, because the servings are so large. And I read something that if you go to a restaurant and buy something like a shrimp Alfredo or chicken Alfredo, that can have up to 2,000 calories and 100 grams of fat. And so average man, average woman needs between 15 and 2,000 calories a day. So that's your full calories for one whole day in one meal. So look for healthier options. And if you want to have those, which you shouldn't say you can't have foods, eat smaller portions and try to be satisfied with smaller portions. And if you're at home, try to eat at the table, because we all know if we're doing something else while we're eating, we're not thinking about eating, and we could end up eating much more. And a lot of people now recommend that you eat slower and you put your food down between each mouthful, because it helps you to kind of savor that food and pause a little. And if you ever, excuse me, watch some people eat, many people continue to put food in and they haven't really finished that last bite. And so they're not even giving that 15 to 20 minutes that it takes for your stomach to tell your brain that you're eating. So that's one of the reasons why they recommend that you slow down your eating, because it gives the signal from your stomach time to get to your brain, and it will help you to be more satisfied and in the long run eat less. And when you're eating healthier, you want to reward yourself, not with food, and celebrate your successes. Maybe you buy a smaller size pair of pants, or something that's not food related, so that you can use that to celebrate your success. Okay, next slide, please. And so I wanted to talk about a little bit about eating healthier on a budget. And I know that being on a tight food budget can be difficult, but I'm just use this as example. The Dollar Tree, which is now the $1.25 and Up Tree, they need to change their name. They have many healthy foods available in the Dollar Tree, and in most grocery stores, you can find some pretty healthy foods that are low cost. Try to shop at some of the stores that have Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, any of those. They often have healthier foods that are lower cost. Buy one, get one free. Many stores have that offer now, so that you can get double for the price of one. And a lot of times meats in particular, their sell by date, they often mark those down when it's close to the sell by date. As long as it looks good, it's not brown, it's still pink and looks good, you can buy that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're not going to use it right away, just toss it in the freezer, and it will still be perfectly good when you take it out a month or so from then. So that's another way to save some money. Of course, using store brands and cooking coupons, getting the store brands. Oftentimes, the same people that make a name brand food are the same people that manufacture those foods under the store brand. They don't want you to know that. They'll deny it if you ask them, but the quality is generally pretty good. Um, if you have time and you're cooking at home, double up, make a little more, put it in the freezer, and then you can have it for another meal. And one of the things, like right now, many fruits and vegetables are going to get cheaper because they're in season. Try to buy those more expensive items when they're in season. But if you're using frozen, like berries or something that's you only see this time of year, frozen are very acceptable and still just as nutritious. Um, don't shop when you're hungry because you'll buy much more, put more foods in your cart because everything looks good when you're hungry. And a lot of people, I know you probably hear people say shop around the outside of the supermarket, but there are many, many healthy foods along the aisles. And I hate when I really don't like when I hear that because it's discouraging people from going up and down the aisles. But there's cereal, there's brown rice, there's beans and peas. There are healthier foods along the aisle, but that's where the produce is and the meats are. And that's one of the reasons why they tell you to do that. And so be creative with foods. One of the examples I like to use, ramen noodles are not the healthiest thing. One of the problems with ramen noodles is that they are extremely high in sodium. Excuse me, 1 second. Sorry. They are extremely high in sodium. And so one of the things you could do is use only half of that seasoning packet that comes with the ramen noodles. If you're at Dollar Tree, they often have $1.25 bags of shrimp. You can add some protein to it by adding shrimp. If you can, they have those dollar bags of vegetables at the store that you use for stir fry. You can add those in, and you can take something like ramen noodles and make them a little healthier. The main concern about that is the high sodium. And some of those can have between 1,500 and 2,000 milligrams of sodium in one serving. And average person should be getting that for the whole day. And if you have heart disease, you have a family history of heart disease, have high blood pressure, you really need to reduce your sodium so that you can reduce your risk of heart disease later. And learn to love leftovers. I'm always surprised at hearing that people don't enjoy leftovers. I personally enjoy leftovers, and that's another way to expand your budget. Next slide, please. Okay, kind of in summary, the benefits of eating healthy. It can lead to a healthy heart, can reduce your risk of cancers. There's some evidence that if you eat healthier, you have a better mood. It's improved gut health, improved memory, can lead to weight loss. It can prevent, delay, or manage diabetes. It could help you to get a good night's sleep. And that's related to sleep apnea, where people stop breathing in the middle of the night. And some of the risk factors for sleep apnea are obesity, drinking alcohol, and unhealthy eating. And then by eating healthy, you're really setting up the future of your children and your family to be healthier in their lives and in the lives of their children too. And so a couple other tips. Just swap those soft drinks and sweet tea, because sweet tea can have just as much sugar as a soda. And if you're in a restaurant, for instance, and they give you free refills, you can get 1,000 calories just drinking a glass of sweet tea. So swap out that soft drinks and sweet tea for water or herbal teas. Cut down on meat in your diets. Try to get at least one day as a meatless meal. Add fruits and vegetables, increase those. When fresh produce is available and cheaper, use those. But it still is okay to use fresh, frozen, or canned. They're all okay. Try to get ones that don't have added butter and salt. But fresh, frozen, and canned, they're all okay. And try to eat whole fruits instead of juices. And if you're going to drink juice, look for 100% juice. Those, if it says drinks, beverages, cocktail, they generally have a lot of sugars. Sunny D, any of those, they're very high in sugar and very low in fruit juices. Limit processed meats. This is a recommendation because they're finding that people that have higher intakes of those processed meats, such as hot dogs and things along those lines, it's higher in salt. It has nitrates in it, and it can, eating a lot of those, particularly everyday bacon, can increase your risk of colon cancer. And then eat more lean proteins such as nuts, butters, beans, peas, lentils, eggs, tofu, poultry, and fish. Those are all healthier for you. And so I know there are lots of questions in the chat, and I can only see it as it pops up. So we have a few minutes. I don't think I'm at the end of my 30 minutes yet, am I? Or I may be, but you are really what you eat. And so that's why healthy eating is so important, that what you take in really can affect your health. It's not what you do one day that makes a difference, but it's what you do most days of the week. And sort of the 80-20 rule, I eat healthy 80% of the time, and then I can splurge a little for that 20%. So what questions do you have?
One of the questions that a student asked was recipes for avocado.
Okay, the avocado, you can find a lot of recipes. The Avocado Association, the marketing arm for avocados, there are lots of recipes on their site. And in the morning, for instance, a good way to start your day could be having a slice of whole wheat toast and put an avocado smash on it. You take an avocado, pit it and peel it and add a little salt, pepper. You can add a little hot sauce. You can add a little salsa, and then you add it to your toast instead of butter, which is less healthy for you. So that's a quick, easy recipe. And I have done a chocolate avocado pudding, and I can share that recipe with you, where you take 2 avocados, you put some cocoa powder in it, a little maple syrup, and a dash of there's a little honey maple syrup, and you blend it up and put a few raspberries and slivered almonds on top, and it makes a wonderfully rich chocolate pudding that many people don't know that there's avocado in it. It's really great. And you use almond milk, so it is vegan for any of you that might be vegans. But I can share that with you, Ms. Price, and the students. Actually, I can even do it while I'm answering questions.
Okay. Any other questions for Mrs. Allen? I have the QR code up, and so please make sure that your attendance is counted. So those of you who were not here at the beginning of the period, I have the QR code. Please do the QR code, put your name, your email address, and then select nutrition. That's the session that you are in now. Any other questions for Mrs. Allen?
Healthy snacks for busy students and teachers. One thing that you can do, they do have the single packs of nuts available that you can tuck in your pocket, or your purse, or your bag, your backpack. Those are a good snack to have. You can also, apples and bananas are always a good snack. And what I like to do is I wrap it in the plastic wrap so that it doesn't get bruised when I put it into my bag. Those are all easy things to have. There are a lot of be careful with some of those chips, like the veggies chips, or those things. They say they have vegetables in them, but they really don't have that much, and they're very high in very high in sodium and high in fat. So be careful with some of those. So anything that, something really easy and portable that you can put in your backpack is always good. Even some of those Lance crackers are good. They're easy. They're generally less than 200 calories. So it's a quick, easy snack that doesn't have to be refrigerated. Be careful with dried fruit. You can have some of those mixed in with the nuts, but a lot of the dried fruits, they put a lot of sugar in them. If you want dried fruits, try to find some that don't have added sugar. So that's just a few suggestions. If you're able to have a cooling pack, like a lunch bag with a cooling pack, you can put some things like yogurt in there. They have those cheese sticks. Go for the low-fat version. There are a lot of things that like that you could use in your lunch bags if you have a cooling pack.
Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So I just wanted to yell it.
So we have a question coming from the class, so he's going to come up here and ask his question.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to yell across or what. Yes, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes.
So for people that try not to eat red meats, because people typically think red meats are unhealthier compared to like poultry or leaner meats, how do you get enough iron in your diet as an adult?
You can use some, the other like chicken has some iron, but for some people it may not be enough. So you may need to take an iron supplement, and you don't want to really get more than 18 milligrams a day. If you're over 50, most people, as you age, you need less iron. So for someone over 50, you need about 8 milligrams a day. So you may have to take a supplement if you're not eating a lot of red meat where you get much of your iron. But there are some fruits and vegetables that are rich in iron. And give me just a minute, I'll pull up my list.
Beets, I know, is one, because I don't eat
spinach, liver, but that's a red meat, so you may not want to do that. Beans and peas have some. There's a low level in like pumpkin seeds has some iron in it. Molasses, but molasses is full of sugar. It's another sugar. Some cereals are enriched with iron since it's not a natural source of iron. So that might be another way. Chickpeas, another way to get some extra iron in.
Any other questions? All right, if we can give Mrs. Allen a hand for coming on this Good Friday and taking time for us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. I know you don't see this room. We had several sessions going on, but you do have people in the room listening to you, as well as people in virtually listening to you. Please again do the QR code so that we can keep attendance for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you don't have any questions, you can go to the next session, which is suicide prevention and family resilience, and that is in AC 215, or you can pull it up in Zoom. So that is the next session. So you can move on to the next session. And thank you so much, Mrs. Allen, for giving us healthy food on a budget for college students. And we thank you for doing that. I would have never thought to go to the dollar store to get food. So thank you for that. Thank you again. You enjoy the rest of your day.
You also. You also. Thank you.
You're welcome.